Arithmetic and logic unit. This is the core part, the real brain. Actually, if you take any decision and all that, you have to perform. You have to perform arithmetical operations and logical operations. Just through simple example, I will tell you. You want to purchase a mobile, then the mobile price is 10k, 10,000 rupees. Actually, you have 5,000 rupees with you. Okay, then you want to borrow from your friends. Your friend 1 offered 4k, 2k, and other friend offered 2k. These are the facts. These are the facts. What is the amount? This is amount required. Now, this is the amount available. Amount available AA, amount required AR. Now, amount available, how you are able to calculate? You are calculating by addition. Now, how much you got? 9k you get. Okay. Now, you perform arithmetical operations. Now, arithmetical operations only, you cannot take a decision. If you have to take a decision and all that, what you do? Amount available and amount required, you compare. And amount available is greater than or equal to amount required. Your decision is yes. That means definitely you purchase mobile because you have 10,000 or more amount available. But in this case, amount available is less than amount required. Then what is your decision? No. By this example, what you can understand? You can understand most of our decisions are based on arithmetical and logical operations, or arithmetical or logical operations. Understand? So, already one example I gave you, working day. Working day is a condition. You are a college student. Now, college may have working day or it may be holiday. If your working day is there, your program is in specific fashion. If it is a holiday, your program is in different fashion. So, yes or no? Here, in order to, in this, just always remember through one example. Otherwise, you cannot explain the concept. So, here, this is the best simple example. So, first you are performing arithmetical operations, thereafter you are performing logical operations to take a decision to purchase a mobile or not. Now, the fifth unit, control unit. In this case, already I explained to you, this point you remember. Actually, this ALU and control unit together we call as CPU, Central Processing Unit, CPU. But here we are taking into consideration of the functionalities of each unit. We are classifying units depending on the functionality. That's why ALU is doing arithmetic operations and logical operations. That's why we treat it as a separate unit, and control unit as a separate unit. That don't confuse, both together you can call it as CPU, or loosely if you want to call CPU also, nothing wrong in that. And now what is CPU? Actually, this is like a chief control, CEO of the system. It plays different roles in computer and all that. Actually, different roles I explained briefly. One is it is like a receiver. Actually, many instructions are there, already told you in the memory unit they are stored and all that. So, from memory unit it receives all the instructions and all that. Actually, instructions are implemented only, and instructions only manipulate data. By that we can get the result. So, that control unit, first one as a receiver, and thereafter it acts like a executor. Executor means whatever instructions it receives and all that, those should be executed. Then only results are generated. Then only processing will be done. It acts like an executor. Third one, correspondent. It acts like a correspondent. Actually, it it correspond with the input devices and all that. Devices and even output devices and all that. After correspondence with the different input units and output unit and all that, it takes decisions. So its role is like a correspondent, and it is like a storekeeper. Storekeeper means, here already I told you, secondary unit is a storekeeper. Here how it is a storekeeper, in processing it takes data in piecemeal, and the data and instructions it stores into registers. Register means a small piece of data, a limited number of small pieces of memory it holds. Those are data registers and instruction register. One instruction register and few number of data registers they have. These are also small pieces of memory and all that. Then it stores such current data which are currently being processed in a CPU. That data it stores, and it is a liaison officer. Actually, liaison officer means it uh, it interacts with the output units and all that. According to after as a liaison officer, it interacts with them and all that, and then delivers the output data to the output devices and all that. Thereafter, it is acting like a distributor, and at the same time it acts like a chief coordinator. Chief coordinator means, now you see, we are able to work or operate different programs on a computer at a time. Suppose you play your music on the system, at the same time something you download from the through internet, and you are typing something. That means three programs at a time you are performing on a computer. Three are different programs. In the same manner, several programs simultaneously they work on a computer and all that. So for these are not just like the done; they are a coordinating element. So all these coordination is done uh, through this control unit. In this way, it is a chief CEO of the entire system and all that. It plays different roles like this. Because of this control unit, we are able to get our jobs performed on a computer. So that is control unit. The last one is secondary storage. Secondary storage device is normally hard disk. Hard disk we call as a secondary storage device, and this is internally it is fixed in a computer. That's why it is also known as fixed disk. And not only that, external units also, external hard disk you can have, or otherwise CD-ROMs you have. Those are also treated as secondary storage devices, and these are very big comparatively with the RAM or primary memory. The size is huge. These are in GBs, the gigabytes, or TBs, terabytes, and all that. Terabytes, those are millions of bytes and all. Those are so big. Time to time, the capacities are increased and all that. Increased by that huge amount of data we can store in the secondary storage device. And already I told you, secondary storage unit is nothing but a permanent storage unit. Whatever data we require in the future, all that we store in the secondary storage unit. And one thing you must remember, whatever data you want, data means you have to take, there may be text file, it may be images, it may be audio, it may be video, anything is simply called as data. All that we can store, but in the secondary storage unit we cannot perform any operations. any operations are to be performed and all that, the particular piece of data should be transferred to primary memory. There only we can have to perform operations. After that, again, if you want it permanently, again you have to transfer it to secondary storage unit. So you, in this manner, you have to understand all the functional units of a computer. If you understand this and all that, as I told you earlier, many of your future doubts are suppressed. They never arise at all. That is the advantage of knowledge of basics. Actually, one similarity I have to tell you and all that. Now, before constructing a building, you lay a foundation. That foundation is embedded in the earth. You may not see that. You may not see that, but you know that it gives entire strength to the building. That's why if you cannot see that also, but you know the importance of that. In the same manner, if you first learn the basic, thereafter if you enter into the subject, main subject, and the knowledge of basics will help like that for your superstructure. And one more thing, as I told you many times and all that, it prevents the arising of the doubts. So doubt is not there. Doubt is an obstruction in our understanding. So if no doubts are there and all that, it is like you smoothly understand the subject, and your study will be like a cakewalk. Then ultimately you can understand the subject, own it, and it leads to improving your proficiency over the subject.